In today's world, buying a house feels like going through a never-ending maze with lots of dead ends and pitfalls. Overwhelming, complicated, confusing. But what if we could rewrite the rules? Welcome to the future of buying and selling a home. Led by Open Property Data Association, there is a new way that makes buying and selling a home easier and could shorten offer to exchange times to just 15 days. Here's everything you need to know. Let's roll. Meet our seller. They love their home, but it's time to move on. So, they find a local agent who is the right fit to sell their house. Their agent is very helpful and explains everything they need to sell their home and ensure a smooth transaction. This includes a digital identity check and gathering all the information about their house up front. Don't worry, the agent reassures me that this is very easy to do. After confirming their identity, address, and a few details about the property, all the material information is pulled in from official sources to create the digital property pack. This includes the unique property reference number, or UPRN, legal title from land registry, tenure, construction type, council tax band, energy performance rating, and search flags. The agent gets the property information they need with confirmation of where the data came from, and they create the listing for the property, including all the material information to be trading standards compliant. Now that the property is ready for marketing, they advise the seller to instruct a conveyancer who can make sure everything's in order before a buyer is found. They can also order any searches or specialist reports needed to speed up the process and prevent delays later. The conveyancer uses the official and verified data from the digital property pack to check the title, deeds, and legal information, and they will add any new data, such as searches, to the digital property pack and populate their conveyancing forms without needing to enter or rekey data manually. Our seller reviews the new data, completes any missing information on the conveyancing forms, adds their fixtures and fittings information, and confirms that everything is correct by signing the attestation, all backed by their digital identity and other security checks to keep everyone safe. Excellent! The conveyancing system is updated with the seller's tasks complete, which updates the digital property pack, allowing the conveyancer to draft the contract. Okay, let's meet our buyer. They've saved up a deposit and researched how to get mortgage ready. They talk to their mortgage advisor, who helps them complete their fact find, do a digital identity and affordability check, and confirms their plan for paying the deposit and other buying costs. The mortgage advisor will figure out how much the buyer can afford to borrow and help them secure that all-important decision in principle. Great! Decision in principle secured, it's time to start searching for that perfect home. Oh, looks like you've found one. It's time to check the listing and see the key information before requesting a viewing. Buoyed by the detail and transparency of information they can see, our buyer contacts the agent, who checks that their digital ID check and decision in principle are good to go and ensures they are ready to buy. Great! They're confirmed to be a genuine buyer and can now access the rest of the digital property pack and arrange to view the property. Our buyer falls in love with the house, knowing it meets all their needs with the added assurance of verified property information and that the seller's conveyancer has already started the legal checks and contract work. The buyer's mortgage advisor can now begin the mortgage application process, ensuring the property meets the lender's criteria and fits the buyer's affordability using the data from the digital property pack. The advisor finds the right mortgage lender for the buyer and the property, and they share the digital property pack, digital identity check, and automated valuation as part of the application. It's time for the buyer to make an offer on the property. Great! The seller is happy to accept it. The buyer instructs their own conveyancer, who receives the digital property pack, the contract pack, and starts working on the buyer's behalf. The memorandum of sale is created using the property data from the digital property pack and the buyer and seller details from their digital identity and finance checks, ensuring all data is verified and matches the official source. The estate agent shares the completed memo with the seller, the buyer, and their conveyancers. Our seller's conveyancer finishes creating the contract pack and shares it with the buyer's conveyancer, so they can start working towards an exchange of contracts, completion, and moving date. The mortgage application process is smooth. The lender still needs a physical valuation, so they request a property inspection and at the same time, sharing the digital property pack and other information. This ensures the valuer has validated information from the official source about the title and any restrictions, and the conveyancer is working from the same data as the seller's conveyancer. Everyone has access to the same source of the truth. The lender receives the inspection report from the valuer and updates the conveyancer and the digital property pack, so everyone knows what's happening in real time. The lender issues the mortgage offer, knowing that the property data meets their criteria, that the valuation is based on official source data, and the title checks and other legal work have been done by the conveyancers. The mortgage offer has a much higher probability of completing, and the lender has less queries, so less risk of delays. With the mortgage offer, valuation, and searches ready, our buyer, seller, and their conveyancers finalise their checks and move to completion phase. Exchange of contracts happens 15 days after the buyer accepts their mortgage offer and the completion date or moving date is set. The buyer and seller can now plan for moving day with certainty that it will happen. The buyer and seller have more control over the process and can trust that the transaction is on track. And it's time to celebrate. But the digital property data doesn't stop there. The mortgage lender uploads the completed mortgage account for their servicing platform, including all the verified property data they need for regulatory reporting and future transactions. And the buyer, who is now a proud homeowner, adds their digital property pack to their personal wallet so they can start tracking important things they'll need to keep. This includes any work done on the property, certificates for planning permission, replacements or servicing history, and everything they'll need for remortgaging, updating the property, or selling in the future. So, to summarise, here are the key differences compared to today. The seller gathers all the important information about their property before it goes on the market. This also means their estate agent is compliant with trading standards. The seller instructs their conveyancer up front to review key legal items, order searches, deal with any complexities, and get ahead of the process. The buyer gets to see everything they and their lender need to know about the property up front before viewing the property or applying for a mortgage. The mortgage advisor gets access to the full property information, helping them find the best possible lender based on the right criteria, saving time and reducing the chances of applications falling through or taking forever. And finally, the mortgage lender and their service providers get access to authenticated property data they can trust at the start of the process instead of too late. This prevents deals from falling through, makes lending decisions more robust, removes lots of gaps in the process, reduces the need for everyone to be chasing for updates, and creates certainty around how and when the mortgage turns into completion.